So I stock the things I want to stock based on the things that I think are viable in art and the things that I want to make sure are there for a potential audience. There's authors we've more or less deplatformed because we don't feel like that's stuff that we want to sell and we want to support. Conversely, there's a whole lot of stuff we started stocking because we feel like it needs a space in the world.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. Highs to approve, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal.
Dal. Dal.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
This literally came up in the store yesterday, and I'm going to broach it as hypotheticals because it is all hypotheticals. We do not have current practical data with which to discuss this.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a clear set in my mind, a clear path set of how I'm going to bring it up. But what if you learned that one of the people that worked with you at Challengers, when they're at home, heavy recreational drug use?
Oh, I wouldn't care. I mean, I guess I would generally care in like their health and well-being, but like that's kind of a thing that isn't necessarily my place as an employer.
Right. My exact philosophy on this is that's none of our business.
Yeah. I mean, to the extent, again, like there's two things that make it my business. One, literally if it's affecting my business, like if you are unable to do your job or unable to show up when you're supposed to show up, if you are stealing from the store because of it, like these things where it's like, now it's my problem. But the other thing is I certainly feel not protected necessarily, but I feel invested in the health and well-being of the people who help out at Challengers.
Yeah.
So I would probably want to have a conversation with them about like, hey, is this how you think you want your life to go? Is this a thing that we need to talk about recovery? Is there, you can't make that decision for somebody, but you can have a conversation about it. I mean, that's what an intervention is basically, right? It's just saying like, hey, this is how what you're doing is affecting me and affecting the people you care about and the people who care about you. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fire somebody because of it if it was something they were doing outside of work.
Okay, let's ratchet it up. What if it was a illicit substance? Like what if somebody you knew was regularly taking meth?
Yeah, again, up to the point where it starts to affect the business, I would, again, have a conversation because I don't think that's, healthy. I don't think that's good for you. I don't think that's conducive to a long, happy life.
Would you be extra worried if that person was a key holder?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Yeah. I mean, anyone with a substance issue or an addictive problem, like, would be a concern. I wouldn't necessarily fire them for it, but we would have to have a conversation about kind of guardrails for that sort of thing. Like if you, again, once it affects the business in any way, then it becomes my problem. And then I get to do what I need to do to protect the business. But if it's not affecting the business, then it's a conversation or a series of conversations. And maybe that's too lenient. I don't know. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with that as a problem for the business before. It would be a new experience for me as a business owner.
Historically, we are aware of some of the recreational activities of the people that work with us.
Sure.
And it's their recreational activities.
Yeah.
There was one particular former employee who, on occasion, would show up impaired.
Yep.
Not to a level that it looked like they couldn't do their job, but it was enough to raise some red flags and have a conversation.
Yep.
And look, over the 17 and a half years of Challengers, at least one of the people in this room has been drunk in the store on numerous occasions.
Uh-huh.
Let me rephrase that. Let me add to that. Sometimes after hours, but oftentimes during hours.
Yeah, usually.
Not oftentimes.
Sometimes during hours into after hours.
Yeah.
kind of as a longer
Sure.
timeline.
And again, never as a point of cannot function and do their job,
No,
but definitely in a way of
capital D drunk.
should this continue, no, capital B buzzed.
Okay.
Yeah.
The drunk was the after hours part?
I think the drunkest ever was the Norton McKeever signing,
Okay.
because that was predicated by one quick hour over at Lazo's, rest in peace,
See, that's the thing.
and 3 margaritas.
I also thought that you could describe several of the Cullen Bunn events the same way.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I,
Some of those ended at Lazo's as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would have pegged the Cullen Bunn, especially the one where he bartended for a little bit,
Yeah. Fair.
and we found out pretty quickly, like, oh, he's a real heavy pourer. Like,
Yeah,
this is not how you want to pour for a party at a
His
store.
recipe was unfortunately double what it should have been.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry. When Delia came in, she fixed it.
Uh-huh. But I mean, fixed because people had already been drinking for a little while.
Look, we're talking about employees, not Brian Hurt, okay?
Okay.
And some of those Cullen Bunn events were technically a store function, but also after hours.
Sure.
But the Norton McKeever thing was definitely while the store was open.
Uh-huh.
But that was proximity, and also the person we're referencing wasn't running the store.
No.
They were just there to facilitate the enjoyment of the celebrities, the guests, the
Sure,
signers,
sure.
the creators. Yeah. So this came up yesterday completely organically
Mm-hmm.
and not at all related to what people may think was the cause.
Okay.
I mean, you were there when it came up.
Yeah, I don't even imagine what people would think were the cause.
Oh, well, the point is, okay, and here's what I wanted to say. I knew there was more to it.
Uh-huh.
These are all a lot of hypothetical what ifs, and what if you found out that one or several of your employees
Mhm.
had a vastly different political belief than you did?
Oh. Yeah, I'd probably be disappointed maybe, but yeah, certainly the store has a very obvious and visible political leaning. Without getting off topic or maybe digressing a little bit,
Feel free.
it's a thing I've
It's
been
a free country now. I support your right to free speech.
Thank you, Patrick. In the last few days, I've definitely been thinking a lot more about the idea of kind of public discourse. I'm not on any social media. I know that for a lot of people, they need social media not only to stay in contact with people, but also to express their ideas, to communicate in a way with the rest of the world where maybe they don't get a chance to do that in a very large public way. We're an open storefront. We've been open for 17 years. I see dozens of people a day, hundreds of people a week. Challengers, again, has a very visible tone to it. We have Black Lives Matter banner in the window. We have multiple flags that Patrick has purchased that we put up in the store that celebrate diversity and hopefully feel like an inclusive place for a lot of different kinds of people. If you come into Challengers, you know, without being confrontational or anything, if you want to talk about something, I will talk about it with you, even if we don't agree on it. I don't consider a lot of topics ineligible for discussion. Obviously, you know, depending on how heated things get, I might be like, hey, we got to take this down a level. But we talk about a lot of different things in the store. We talk about comics predominantly, but we talk about a lot of other things as well. It's just, hopefully it's a place where people can feel comfortable to relax and discuss things. Conversation right in the name.
Yep, there it is, right up there.
That said, for a lot of the like more public facing social media stuff and our website and things like that, it's reached a point where not even as a business owner, you know, concerned about how random people will view my business, but just in a general exhausted with humanity kind of way, I don't know how reasonable it is to expect a store, a comic book shop, for example, to have a take on everything that's happening in the world. I don't know that you need to come to Challengers to get from our social media or from our website, you know, to have it not forced on you necessarily, but for us to have a take on everything that's happening in the world. You want to come to the store, you want to talk about it? Great, fine.
Maybe that comes up. Maybe we talk about it. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, but we're just a comic shop in Chicago. I don't know that I feel like I want to have a take on things that have nothing to do with my business. And honestly, some things that I had no knowledge of prior to Firestorm happening all over the internet. Like, what am I chiming in for at that point? Like,
Yeah.
what do I have to say about this? If you ask me as a person, we'll have that conversation. Do I need to get out in front of it and post stuff on it? No, again, that's why I'm not on social media. That doesn't have to be the way I live my life, and it doesn't have to be the way the store comports itself to people who just want to buy comic books. I don't know, man.
We do not know the political, moral leanings of everyone who shops with us.
Yeah,
And we definitely have people that are on a different end of the spectrum than we are.
yeah. I mean, if you look at the breakdown of the
Population.
of the country and the specific, demographic breakdown of Chicago, I guarantee you that there are a very high number of people that shop at the store that have diametrically opposed views to me. And I conduct my business the way I want to conduct my business, as far as the authors I carry, the things I spotlight, the topics I consider viable for comic books, the things that make me order or not order things are based on my own value system. And Patrick, I would assume yours are as well.
Mine are not based on your value system.
It should be, Patrick. That's why I do the FOCs. So I stock the things I want to stock based on the things that I think are viable in art and the things that I want to make sure are there for a potential audience. There's authors we've more or less deplatformed because we don't feel like that's stuff that we want to sell and we want to support. Conversely, there's a whole lot of stuff we started stocking because we feel like it needs a space in the world.
Yeah.
We have an LGBTQ section in our younger readers room because I don't think there's anything wrong with having that material available for younger readers. The idea that a book where a boy and a girl kiss is okay for children, but a book where two boys kiss is inappropriate for children is ridiculous to me. Like, what is the difference? You're explaining romance and physical relationships to a kid, or you're not. Like, you're having chaste romance in a comic, or you're not. Like, these are things that it doesn't matter who's involved in this. So stuff like that. Like, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who shop at the store that would vehemently disagree with that. But
I would like to point out that for our LGBTQA plus section, also on the website, you can just search. There's a whole collection.
Yeah, we had somebody in recently who's asking if we had an LGBTQ section, and I said we didn't, and I was sorry about that. But in my brain, I'm thinking like, no, because they're in every section. And I sort of explained that to them. I'm like, we're going to have LGBTQ books in pretty much every section you're thinking of in the store. There's definitely stuff in the manga section, the young adult section.
You can go to the website
mystery.
and look at that collection if you want specifics. However, we don't drill down into levels. Our section could be the themes of the book. Maybe a creator is gay. Maybe it's outright an intergender romance, or there's a more general topic. Like, there's a lot of different qualifiers.
For sure.
It's
a very catch-all category.
Whenever I go to update things and I'm looking at different lists on the internet, sometimes books will get flagged into the LGBTQ section because the creator is gay. But maybe that book isn't about that.
Sure.
So there's still a level of, does this qualify? Or more importantly, why does this qualify?
Right.
And I know that if you pull any book from that section and ask me why it's in there, I may have to look it up and find out.
Sure.
I won't be able to pull it off the top of my head. But there's nothing wrong with having those things.
No.
And we know we have, I'm just going to use the modern terminology of liberal and conservative, but that's okay.
Sure.
We know we have some very heavy conservative customers.
Sure.
We may have in the past have had conservative employees.
Yes. Again, statistically, yes.
Yeah. But never to a point where it is in your face or argumentative or threatening.
Yeah. That's where in any situation it would become a line crossed, where it's like, you are absolutely free to believe that stuff. You are free to, discuss that stuff in your off hours. But when it becomes argumentative or distracting in the store, then we're going to have a conversation about it, one way or the other.
But I learned an important lesson many years ago from a man smarter than I. And it's basically, I don't have to like you to take your money.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a line we won't cross, Like there is a point where we do not want someone's business,
Sure.
but it's not a point. It's a flexible variable thing. And when it comes up,
It's a
we'll
judgment.
know it.
It's a judgment
Yeah.
call. Like anything in the business. Like I think it can be really reductive for a lot of places and kind of a bad faith argument to have like, you have to have this all in writing. You have to have it all blocked out. You have to have, firm, defendable answers for everything. And it's like, no, man, a lot of this stuff is a judgment call. Like there's authors where it's like, no, I don't want to carry their books anymore. Like, are they objectively worse than another author whose stuff I might carry? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's just this one author. I'm like, no, this is the line for me. And this other person, maybe I didn't know about it, or maybe I know about it, but I don't think it's as big a deal. Or maybe I feel like you're making a false equivalency between two different things to further a specific argument I don't want to have. That sort of stuff. Where it's like, no. And I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have an ironclad defense for absolutely everything I do.
No. What if one of your employees was regularly posting on social media that was then brought to your attention because you wouldn't see it, how much they hate Kamen Rider?
Fine.
Right. You wouldn't care.
I mean, that's different, though. That's just art. Like,
Sure.
You don't have to like everything I like. I don't expect you to, and I don't care if you do.
But what if their take on it was really derogatory and vile and profane?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, when it becomes a situation where it is actively harming other people, either, emotionally or, God help you, physically, then it's a problem. And then you're not going to make sense as someone who works at Challengers. Like
I would like to think that we have a good take on the people that we ask to work with us.
Sure.
We don't do full background checks. We don't do a huge personality test on the way in.
No.
Upcoming, we will have some scheduling changes.
Sure.
And I'm dancing around this so politely.
Mhm.
I'm very excited for a new person coming in
Mhm.
because I think they will fit well with us.
Sure.
And their enthusiasm would be hopefully contagious.
Mhm.
But also that enthusiasm has made me step back and say, are they too agreeable? They're just already saying yes to everything I ask. Like, I need a line. Like, whenever somebody says to me, I like everything you recommend, so recommend anything. And I always say, there's got to be something I recommend you don't like. And you need to tell me when that is, so we have more data. So we can have...
We need to know what the floor is on this.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, man, are they too excited for this?
We'll find out.
Or am I just old and jaded? I don't know.
We'll find that out too.
I don't think that comes into play. But when these types of discussions spill into the comics industry, it's natural for people to want to know if we have a specific take.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about it. I mean, I guess just pulling the Band-Aid off, we're talking about the Red Hood situation at DC.
What? I don't know anything about that.
Let me walk it back a little bit. So when DC announced that they were doing a Red Hood series, I'm like, oh, this is a great idea, because it's basically Nightwing but Red Hood.
Yeah.
It is taking Red Hood and putting him in a brand new city. It's basically DC New Orleans. It's giving him Huntress as a partner / adversary, partner mostly, and
we'll never find out.
Setting up just Jason Todd and Red Hood in a mature reader series, which I've read the first issue and I read the second issue up on the DC box site while I still could. In just a New Orleans crime drama. It's mature readers, but it doesn't really have to be. There's not a lot in it that I would consider mature readers. I don't think there's a lot of violence, and I don't remember much language. The tones and themes are very much like a 21st century extrapolation of the stuff that Nightwing was doing, where, Nightwing goes to Bloodhaven and it's like, oh, corrupt cops. And what the Red Hood creative team was doing is basically saying like, oh, maybe policing is its own special problem beyond just like if they're corrupt or not corrupt. Maybe we're talking about over policing cities. And there's a kind of line in the second issue where they're talking about how, when police are everywhere, you feel more like you're being occupied than you are being protected.
Yeah.
And it can feel like you're in a prison. And that's an interesting thing to talk about in 2025, and a thing that, goes beyond just the standard, like, there's a cop on the take from a crime lord. And it's like, no, there's just a basic systemic thing that happens with how we look at law and order in the United States that can cause these sort of, stories to explore. We ordered high on Red Hood #1. We took part in the DC promotion where if you hit over a certain level, you can get bundles of 25 for a lower cost, which allows us to stock heavier on the shelf. I thought the first issue was okay, not great.
I think it looked great.
Just
very atmospheric, very moody.
Jeff Spokes is great.
It really felt like St. Angelique was a very different DC city than everything else.
New Orleans.
I know.
Yes, but yes, it's not Metropolis or
from the
Keystone
architecture, but mainly the coloring and the tone of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it feels like everything is taking place on like at dusk on a summer night, humid.
Created a real fun new Cajun-esque character.
Yeah.
And then
Royale.
Excuse me, I can't say what I was going to say, but immediately changes the way that character is coming to play into the series.
And we never met who I thought was going to be the new villain, which is King Cake. No, sorry, it's a New Orleans thing. But I thought the execution was maybe not great. I thought the first issue ended on a cliffhanger that was the most obvious cliffhanger you could possibly do for the setup you're given. I thought the pace was okay, but kind of didn't do enough. I thought Huntress's interactions felt like they were shot in from a completely different version of the character. There's a lot of new characters that are introduced to the detriment of giving Jason Todd a lot of agency in his own story.
And also let me tell you right now, you're going to need to start caring about her right away.
Right.
In a way that wasn't really earned.
And a lot of that execution is just down to like, it was someone who hasn't read a lot of comic books before.
But somebody who usually relies on the written word to get their point across. So when they're describing the feel of St. Angelique, it's
a lot of narration.
Yeah.
And the first two issues really feel like
good narration.
Yeah.
But narration.
The first two issues really feel like, this is the first 2/6 of a book. Like, it's kind of plotted out in a very basic, this arc is a novel situation. And it's like, that's a thing that I feel like is a common flaw for writers outside of comics coming to comics, is the inability to see the individual unit as being more important than the overall arc you're going to tell. Like, that issue has to work on its own merits, not as a way of teasing what you're going to be doing over the next 5 issues. So
because the first issue ends on the left side of the page, and there's a preview for a DC book on the right side of the page, my eye didn't even
register the story was done.
Yeah. I mean, it did say
issue 2 has the same thing, where it gets to the end and it has what would be considered not even a cliffhanger, just the end of the story, where you're like, I guess we're done here. I thought there'd be more story.
Ultimately, when Superman was in the next panel, I knew I'd gone too far.
Sure.
But I did not read number 2.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that because of the way the story is paced, that there's no way we find out who Tower is.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just more of what was in issue 1, with a little bit more background and a little bit more about the city. I thought issue 1 of Red Hood was a B- comic.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 stars. I thought it had a lot of potential to it. And I thought it was doing something interesting with the character, but it was not a finished product, I guess. It was probably not going to be the best issue of Red Hood I ever read, although in retrospect, it ended up being the best issue of Red Hood I'm probably ever going to read, because we got an email 11:59 p.m. Central Time on a Wednesday night, which is always good news. And it was a very short email from DC saying that Red Hood was immediately and officially canceled. 2 and 3 would not be coming out. We were going to be given a credit for every copy we ordered of issue 1, regardless of whether we sold them or not.
And that was it.
That was it.
That was all it said.
DC Bullet logo. So somebody like me who is not on, again, social media, not unaware of any of that, immediately was like, someone on the creative team did something.
Yeah.
Because holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, if there was something in the book that DC was pissed off about, it would maybe be recalled or retooled, or there'd be an apology, or there'd be an explanation. Similar to what Valiant had gone through with an anti-trans sentiment that went through one of their comics, Shadow Man, I think, where they had to, as a publisher, get out in front of it, explain what was going on. And they had, quotes from different members of the creative team. And then that kind of spiraled as more stuff from the creative team came out. This was not that. This was this book is done. We're acting like it never came out. So it's like, okay, someone on the creative team did something. So I as a human being in the 21st century, did a very quick Google search of the title of the book. Something immediately came up, and I went, okay, great.
And then you texted me,
Mm-hmm.
and I had already seen it because I am on social media.
Right.
And another store in the city of Chicago had, in fact, screen capped what you're talking about and posted it with the comment that they would never be supporting this writer's work ever again.
Uh-huh.
And also a photo, a little drop in of the cover to Red Hood.
Yeah.
And it made me look back at a lot of the decisions we've made
Sure.
as a store. And whenever we make decision like Orson Scott Card,
Yes.
when Orson Scott Card was announced to be doing a Superman story in an anthology book, we chose not to carry it for the store.
Yeah. I think originally at the time we were going to, any of the money that was made from it, we were going to give to
from pre-orders.
Yeah, a essentially a competing charity to the stuff that he would normally fund.
Yeah. And I don't remember how we vocalized that to our subscriber base.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
But I don't think we made any public statements about it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time since when a creator has come under fire for things and we've made decisions to not restock their books, sometimes, depending on the level of severity, sometimes we pull their books right away.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we say, look, we've already paid for them. They've already gotten the money from us.
Right.
So we set our quantities to 0 so we never reorder.
Yeah.
But we'll let them sell out.
Right.
Sometimes a name is so big, you really have to second guess what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about Neil Gaiman to death, but yeah, like we will, to my knowledge, we're not, and unless I screwed up something in the system, and if I did, I'll try and fix it. We're not restocking any of his stuff except for Sandman, and Sandman is such a behemoth in the industry and has the work of so many other people on it.
Yeah.
That it's like, mostly it's, do I want to constantly have a conversation with people who don't know anything about this, why we're not carrying Sandman? And it's like, I don't want to do that all the time forever.
And if there's someone who's watched the Netflix show and is excited to read more about this, it's not our responsibility to say, he's a terrible person, you're not allowed to read his books.
Mm-hmm.
But we can say to ourselves, he's a terrible person, we don't want to support more than we have to.
Yeah, the line for me is generally like, what is happening with this money? Like, if I purchase for the store this person's work and they get this money, what are they using that money to do? Which is why basically I'm not ever carrying anything from J.K. Rowling.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't want that woman to get a dime for absolutely anything because I know what she's using it for and I know how she's using it to hurt people. And I do not want to participate that in any way. Like, luckily I run a comic shop, so I don't have a lot of Harry Potter stuff we could carry. But it's like, if DC announced tomorrow they were doing a Harry Potter comic, which they probably will at some point, there's a new HBO series coming out.
Yeah.
No, we're not carrying that. I'm not carrying a Harry Potter comic. No.
But would you order it for subscribers who ordered it?
Tough. That's usually where I would draw the line. Again, mostly because then I am passing that person's money along to a woman who is going to be using it to fund ways of harming people. And it's like, no. Like, would I let someone pre-order like a Warren Ellis or Neil Gaiman comic? I probably would. I've let people like pre-order like Absolute Transmetropolitan or whatever. He's a horrible person, but I don't know that those guys are using their money to harm people. You know what I mean? They have harmed people, and I don't want to carry their books anymore.
Yeah.
And I would rather they more or less disappear from the conversation. But I don't, that's me not wanting to carry their stuff and give them money because of moral and ethical reasons. Moral reasons, I guess, really not really ethical. I never know the difference. I should know the difference by now. I'm an adult. But like, if you as a reader want Transmetropolitan in your collection because you
change that to Next Wave.
Okay. Why?
Because I have Next Wave in my collection.
Sure. If you want to have Next Wave in your collection because you are able to do a mental calculus that you value the work more than you
and it's Stuart
disdain the creator.
Yeah, it's Stuart Emanin.
I mean, the Brian Wood stuff from back in the day, that was the first, to my mind, where we were really having to reckon with like, oh, there's a lot of amazing work that this person did with a lot of collaborators that we think are fantastic, and now their work kind of has to disappear. But yeah, that's a decision we make all the time, and We do that. And I have no idea how we got off on this, what we were trying to say.
You were talking about Red Hood number one?
We were talking about Red Hood number one. So I don't want to get too much into all of it, basically. I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't even, God, I don't even want to say it.
Then don't.
So the writer had talked about a thing that had happened in the news that I wasn't even aware of, that had happened to a person I was not even aware of.
So it's funny, yesterday, as that was transpiring, 2 different points I said, oh, this happened. And then later I'm like, oh, here's the follow-up. And you had zero reaction to both of those.
Yeah, I'm not in a place where I'm exposed to that person's viewpoint and work and the things they do and whatever. Like, I'm not part of that ecosystem. I don't believe the things they believe in. From everything I've learned in the last 24 hours, I would be diametrically opposed to the way they view the world and other people in it. But I don't have a take on it because this was all new information to me. I don't feel like I need to essentially, as challengers, as a representative of challengers, say anything about it. Conversely, I don't really care if somebody wants to say something about it. I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care. I don't want people to be harmed by other people in every way you can think of that phrase should go. And I don't begrudge somebody who has been harmed directly or indirectly by someone else having an emotional reaction to the death of that other person. Like, I think it's a false equivalency to say that not feeling bad about someone's death is the same thing as advocating for their death. I think that as a starting point for a discussion or an argument is immediately a bad faith thing and exposes that you are just looking for a reason to be upset at somebody and you are looking for a reason to vilify somebody. And that is so obviously not
productive.
Well, not a reasonable interpretation of the events that it's like, oh, so that's what this is. This isn't, a debate or a discourse. This is you lashing out at somebody you don't like and finding a reason to do it. So should the writer have Red Hood been fired for what she posted online? I don't think so, no. I think what the characterization of what she said is inaccurate, either willingly inaccurate, which is, I think, several people involved in the conversation, or accidentally inaccurate, where it's like, I think you're conflating a few things and I think you're reading into it more than you need to read into it. You can look all over the world, and when bad people die, people you don't like die, there's going to be people who are going to be happy about that. That's human history.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think what people are saying online about this guy dying is bad, Henry Kissinger died, and people had some real things to say about that guy. And that's not advocating for his death. That's just saying he died, and we didn't like him for whatever reason. We didn't like him for these very, verifiable things. So, yeah.
It's funny that literally the way this podcast started, when we were having this very similar discussion yesterday, it had nothing to do with this.
No.
Nothing whatsoever. But it just came up around now.
I think the idea, and so I've been watching our sales for the day. We've been selling a bunch of copies of Red Hood. And controversy is always going to lead to curiosity.
But I mean, I immediately joked to you last night that you should go on eBay and see what Red Hood number one's going for.
And we've had people that are going to buy it because they were maybe already interested. We ordered a bunch of copies. We sold a bunch of copies on Wednesday, way before anything happened. We're going to have people that were going to be interested because suddenly this is in the news and comics news and people are talking about it. And I thought it was really interesting because, one, again, I don't think the movie's that great. But more importantly, nothing that causes controversy is in that issue.
Anything to do with it. This comic has nothing to do with the controversy.
If you're, if you want to defend the writer, if you want to vilify the writer, and in doing so you're picking up Red Hood number one, you're getting a B- Batman comic. That's it. The art's good. The story has an interesting concept, but a poor execution. That's it. That's all
Batman
you're getting.
is legitimately in one panel.
Yeah. Spins out a Hush too. I mean, you're in for that. Jesus. So yeah, no,
Hush 2, which is now not ending until end of January of 2026 at the earliest.
So no, for me, I don't care what she said online. She's welcome to her opinion and she's welcome to express it whatever way she wants. I don't think what she was doing was advocating for violence. I think that's a ridiculous counter argument and pointedly reshaping the argument to something that is about creating a more combative atmosphere. And I think that's why I'm not on social media. I think it's such a bad faith argument.
4 years ago on Facebook, I posted this question, which is very 100 bulletsy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, if you could get away with assassinating one member of today's political system, and this is 4 years ago,
yes,
who would it be? And the range of answers...
I don't think it was 4 years ago. I think it was 8 years ago.
8 years ago, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, 8 years ago.
It was a different time.
Yeah. The range of answers was very complex, and a lot of people had a lot of specific reasons, and it was well more of a responded to post than I ever expected. At no point was it advocating for that.
No.
It was just a way of saying, here is dissatisfaction with the current political climate. Who do you think is causing that?
Right. Who are you blaming for the way our country is turning out, essentially? What one person, if you had to blame somebody, who would you blame? And like, you could obviously phrase the question in a different, more like anodyne way. If you had the power to wish somebody out of existence, you know, there's a connotation to violence where it's like, you know, more retributive.
Actually, I don't think I said assassinate. I think I said kill.
Right.
You could get away with killing one member.
Right.
Some comic pros weighed in.
Sure.
Not picking a specific person, but just commenting on the discussion as a whole.
Yeah. I think the idea of not being happy with a visible public person is, again, it's just, I think the idea that saying you're happy someone's dead, like, the people who are clutching their pearls about it are, one, hypocrites because you know they've all done it, and two, everybody does it. Like, I'm not saying that people
action movie you ever watch, there's usually a high body count, and there's people that you want to see dead in it.
Well, and I'm not saying people are constantly wishing each other dead. That is not, thankfully, where we are at as a species yet. But the idea that it's like a moral calculation no one's ever done before is like, come on. Like, that you cannot tell me that. And if you're telling me that it is beyond the pale to express anything other than, you know, utter remorse and empathy and sympathy at anybody's passing, is like, man, come on. Like, Hulk Hogan recently passed away, and it's like, he was a racist piece of shit. Like, I don't have to pretend that's not true. I don't have to wish that he'd live forever or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, he was.
At no point did you ever wish he was dead.
No. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, it's sad that he's dead. Is it? Not to me. I'm not sad about it. And, like, there's people who have been way worse to way more people. And it's like, no, I don't have to sit here and again, wish that they had had a longer life. Why? Why would I want that? Especially if what they're using of their life is hurting other people. I don't have to sit here and pretend that, like, I feel sad about it. I don't have to performatively do the, you know, every life is precious thing. Like, but people die all the time, and it doesn't make what they did with their life when they had it better because they're dead now. I don't know. Like, it's such a weird nonsense argument to me. And again, most of the people who are phrasing it in that way or pointing it out in those terms are doing it in the most disingenuous way possible. Like, they're asking for a kind of purity test where it's like, oh, so anything I say you're going to get mad at.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
Anything other than, like, worship and deference is insufficient to the times. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you know that doesn't cut both ways. You know it. Like, anyway.
It's all false equivalency.
Yep. So anyway, I don't know if we still have Red Hood while we're talking about this. We probably do. While you're listening to this, we probably don't anymore. I don't know. It was a comic book. It came out. It was an okay Batman-related comic book. It had literally nothing to do with anything that was going on the internet. If you want to talk about this stuff in the store, I guess I would rather just talk about comic books, but that's not because I'm morally opposed to it. It's just because I find the way that we talk about these things now and the ways that it's causing the worst communication in history, I find it to be really exhausting and boring. And I don't care about a lot of it. Like, not from a lack of, human empathy, but just because I don't have a horse in a lot of these races. I'm not exposed to horrible people online, so I don't think about them a lot. I don't have a take on them. I don't know who a lot of them are because
You mean like Power Rangers fans?
No, God, I know them. Jesus. I mean, they're having a really rough 2025, so I shouldn't really pick them.
All right, let's move on.
They had Fortnite, though. Fortnite brought the Power Rangers in.
Oh, okay.
They did Fortnite did a filmed segment for it, like a live action pseudo Power Rangers thing. And Power Rangers fans were like, oh no, this is the best piece of Power Rangers content we've gotten in the last decade. Like, oh no.
Wow. Wait, when was that Elizabeth Banks movie? Was that in the last decade?
Yeah, I think it was like 2017 maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I should. I watched it on a train because it's just like, I just need something I can sort of like, I don't have to watch in the best possible way. And I thought it was fine.
Did we see it in the theater?
No.
I remember seeing that movie.
Okay. You saw it on your own then for some reason.
Huh. I definitely went out sitting on my own.
Yeah. I didn't think a lot of like the superhero design stuff was good, but I thought the character interactions were strong.
Meant back then.
It means love.
Batman Day is coming up next weekend.
It is.
And last year's Batman Day was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I felt that there's so much more going on in the Batman universe that the word needs to be spread. So Tuesday, I'll be back on Spotlight Chicago in WGN.
Oh, very cool. Answering questions about what I've said in this podcast. I'm sorry, Patrick.
Well, this podcast will be up by then.
Tuesday? It will be up by then. I thought you said it won't be up by then.
It will be up by then, yeah. Yeah. I believe the show goes on at 1?
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember. It was a year ago I did it. So last year it worked out great because I was on the Friday and it was Saturday.
Yeah.
But this year they can fit me in Tuesday.
Okay.
But this was me going to them saying, hey, look, I know we did this last year.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all the stuff that happened this year.
Yeah.
That I think people need to be aware about. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a hook or a segment or whatever. But also, I don't know. Last year I had fill-in hosts. Maybe this year I'll have regular hosts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't have I do have one new bat prop to bring.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's those two statues. I'm just taking those.
Oh, okay, cool. Kids love Mike Mignola.
Who doesn't? That's what Antonia got today at therapy. She got Bowling with Corpses.
Oh, nice.
Is a big romance reader. I'm like, what's more romantic than folklore?
Mm-hmm.
That was my way in.
European
So yeah,
folklore. Batman
Day. We have, well, all the Batman Day stuff we always have. Somebody was looking at one of the flyers. He's like, so what are you guys doing for the day? I'm like, it's right there on the flyer. Just read that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what are you doing for kids? They read the flyer. Like, Batman Day is for everybody. It's not just for kids.
Yeah.
We don't have special programming for kids.
No.
Sorry, we don't. We definitely don't. Dal, since we did all this talk about things that really didn't make your time at the store any better or worse, really, because it's been happening overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But let's continue with our now 3-week trend of celebrities visiting challengers.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, I bring this up, but it's entirely a Dal thing because...
So it's funny because you said celebrities, and I'm like, who came in that was a celebrity? Because I forget that some of our longtime customers are people that are pretty famous outside of challengers and in their professions.
Friday morning, I got a phone call from our regular customer, April Mendez, and it was very formal. Hi, I'm inquiring about the hours you're open today. And I knew right away who it was.
Uh-huh.
But also, I did not know right away what day it was.
Okay.
I was a little confused as to what day it was.
Okay. That happens.
Every day I wake up, I'm like, what day is today?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, today we're open 11 to 6. Wait, today is Friday, 11 to 6. Because I thought it was Wednesday. Sorry, April. We're open until 6.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, thanks. And that was it.
Right.
So I assumed that there was something specific that she was looking for to buy. And I knew that I had spoken recently to her husband about Knives, the new criminal book.
New Brubaker Phillips.
Yeah.
Still in stock.
Nonetheless.
Book plate.
No book plate. No. And did you notice that the Spectator's book plate is a card, not a sticker?
I didn't because I never handled them.
Yeah, it's a thicker cardboard card.
Neat.
Like, honestly,
Suitable for framing.
like ours.
Okay.
All
great.
of our book plates are inserts, not
Suitable
stickers.
for framing.
Yeah. So April and Philip did not come in on Friday. Apparently it was a big night for April in the city of Chicago anyway. Cut to, I got a text from April Sunday morning asking her hours again.
Mhm.
And I said until 5 because it was Sunday. And then and she said she wanted to come in and sign any Day of the Dead girls we have because she knew that Amy Garcia had signed some and she wanted to complete the set.
Right.
To which I said, oh no, those are long gone.
Yeah, they'll sold out the same day that she posted about it.
Yours are going to be
Long
separate.
gone.
And she said, oh no, we're just going to be like ships missing in the night.
Pretty much.
And it's always going to be one signature or the other.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? I'm okay if that means people need to buy 2 copies to get 2 signed versions.
Yeah.
Cut to...
So Sunday, early Sunday, we opened for a little bit, and April and her husband Phil were out, I'd say walking their dog, but they were pushing a cart with their dog in it. And they stopped by the store, and you had told me that she'd probably be coming by to sign some copies of the book, so I made sure that I grabbed our copies of Day of the Dead Girl off the horror section shelves, kept them behind the counter with a couple markers. Didn't know what she'd want to use. They stopped in. I said, hey, we've got these books. We've got these markers, however you want to do it. Let her come behind the counter so she could work on it.
Yeah.
She signed some copies of the books. Her husband looked around a little bit. She had him take some photos and some videos and stuff so she could post them online later to say she'd come into Challengers and sign copies of the book. We chatted for a little bit. He bought...
As usual.
Yeah, he bought a couple books.
This is not a rare occurrence at Challengers.
Again, that's why it was so weird, because it's like, oh no, they come in and buy stuff not regularly anymore, not as much as they used to.
Commonly, not uncommonly.
But like, it's seeing them is like seeing nearly any other customer that comes in on a sporadic basis.
Yeah.
He bought a couple of the books that you'd set aside for him, and they were gone. That was it. Put the Day of the Dead Girls back on the shelf. Was it Tuesday?
It was Tuesday, because you were solo.
Tuesday, a younger gentleman came in. He'd come in a few months ago from Ireland, recently moved to Chicago. A little bit out of breath, like he had run over, and had wondered if AJ and Punk were still in the store. And I said, no, they were both here on Sunday. She was signing copies of her graphic novel, which, we still have. And I showed him where it was at, and he was excited to get it. And he impressed upon me how much CM Punk is his all-time favorite wrestler. And he's been hoping to run into him at some point in Chicago. And he knows that he sort of lives in that part of the city. And I'm like, well, there's a bunch of places now probably. So I don't know how often you're going to see him. But yes, if on Sunday they were out just walking around the neighborhood. So you can't just run into them. And that was a sort of a deluge of phone calls, emails, and pop-in visits from people who had found out from AJ Lee's social media that she had stopped by Challengers and signed copies of the book. The problem is...
AJ Mendez's social media.
Everyone just called her AJ Lee, Patrick. No one called her AJ Mendez.
I was
Not a single person.
I was working from home and saw an online order roll in for that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go see if it's finally posted.
It's happening.
And yeah.
Which, I love that she came in to do that. We're always super grateful when people who have worked on anything that we sell are willing to take a little bit of their time during their visit to Challengers to sign copies for fans. It's nice because it's a nice little bonus surprise.
And it's something we will never mark up.
No. And that's the thing. And we don't even necessarily call it out because we want it to be something where it's like, you were going to buy this. Now look at this cool thing you get additionally.
Yeah. I love doing that. I love when someone goes to buy a Mayor Good Boy. It's like,
Sure.
Oh, by the way, this is signed by the writer. And people are like, oh, wait, it's signed?
There's been several times that when Daniel Warren Johnson has come into the store, Dan will sign copies of do a powerbomb or Transformers.
Dan just grabs stuff off the shelf and starts going at it.
And he'll do little head sketches. So we've had people where it's like, oh, they think Transformers looks cool. They're going to get their graphic novel. We open up and go, hey, the writer-artist did this head sketch of Optimus Prime inside. Now it's like they've got something cool. And for me as a retailer, I feel like there's somebody who deserved it because they didn't buy it because of
They're
this.
buying it organically.
They're buying it organically. So anytime a creator wants to do that, we always let them do it. Some people have been like, is it okay if I send stuff? And it's like, it's your
Please,
book.
yeah.
We're just selling it. If you want to do that, go nuts. We would never ask you because you're just here shopping. But if you're willing to do it, great.
Literally every time Dan goes to draw in a Transformers book, once he starts doing a shape, I always say, ugh, that's a terrible sound wave. Because it's never sound wave. And it caught him the first time. He's like, what? But
Oh
no, okay. Yeah, it's Optimus. Okay.
But the problem with the AJ stuff is that she posted about it in a way that, again, we're grateful for because we sold out of every book within like an hour. The kind of problem is less in what she posted and more in how people misinterpreted it.
Yeah,
and
this has nothing to do with how she posted.
She did great. We
the
love it.
same thing happened with Amy.
Yeah, and it happens with, celebrities from time to time. The problem is people took it as, one, a signing happened, a full-fledged, you could have gone there and brought your
happening.
Well, that was the second
Sorry.
thing. Or that it's currently happening, and neither of those was true. One, by the time you've seen the video, it's 2 days after she's been in the store. Like, you can run over, she's not here. Secondly, this was something she took time out of her day to do as a nice little bonus for fans, not an advertised signing event where you could have brought things to get her signed.
Right.
If someone had tried to do that while she was in the store, I probably would have intervened. I would have been like, hey, that's not what she's just doing this nice thing for fans. Like, you can say hi, but we're not doing a signing. Don't go get your action figures and bring them back to get her to sign them. So that led to, a day and a half of people popping in long after the books had been sold out. Because sometimes people got a little snippy, like, oh, you didn't have more? And it's like, well, we had a lot, and this was not an advertised, scheduled, planned event. She just came in and signed what we had.
10 copies. And
right.
You know how rare it is for us to have 10 copies of any graphic novel on the shelf?
We don't have 10 copies of House of X in the store. We don't have 10 copies of...
We have 10 copies of Spectators. That's
Batman
all.
Year One.
Yeah.
We don't have 10 copies of anything. So we sold a bunch, and people had seen it online, and they, smart people had gone to our website and just bought it, and they got it, and it shipped out the same day. Not smart people tried to message Patrick through Instagram, and that's not how it works.
No. My favorites are the back and forth. I had this with, I can't remember who, but a signed book by somebody, and you had it. I was like, it's like, if I buy it, is it going to be signed? Yeah, they're all signed. Okay, can you guarantee I get a signed one?
You can't not get a signed one.
They're all signed.
I can't sell you an unsigned copy.
Can you show me a picture of her signing it? No.
Yeah.
You saw her post.
Yeah, you can watch a video. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Okay, well, can you send me a picture of the one you're going to send me? No.
No.
This has already gone on too long. And I love the people that message saying, can I get one of the signed ones? And you're like, yeah, just buy it on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time they respond, it's too late.
Right.
Because other people wanted it as well.
No. Yeah, we sold a whole bunch of copies in the first hour. Unfortunately, I mean, I wish we had 100 copies. If we'd had more warning, we would have stocked higher and we would have made sure that more people could get a copy. We sold them again just for cover price. We didn't mark anything up because she came in and did it on her own time.
Yeah, we're not making money off of her kindness.
I don't feel like, taking a cut of that, essentially. It's weird. So I hope the people who got their copies really enjoy it and appreciate it. I hope they read the book. I hope they get excited about more stuff that she does in the future, her and Amy.
But what was your big takeaway?
Big takeaway?
Yeah. That no one cared about the book.
I want to say that.
Okay, sorry.
I hope, again, I know that a lot of people will sometimes experience the additional work by someone they like because of their interest in an original thing. There's people who have read books written by actors or listen to albums by, sports stars or...
I bought Mila Jojovich's Divine Comedy album. Divine Tragedy?
And
I can't remember.
And I'm not going to pretend that people aren't, swayed into doing that because of how much they appreciate that person's main body of work. To wit, I know there's a lot of people that buy Amy and AJ's comics because they are a fan of Amy's TV shows and a fan of AJ's wrestling work and her memoir.
Health. Yeah, health work as well.
They feel a connection to her as a person and they want to support her different endeavors, even if it's not necessarily something that they would seek out if she was not connected to it. But again, the hope is that they get the book, they read the book, they enjoy the book. The book is good, The book deserves to be read on its own merits.
And especially Day of the Dead Girl, which is their original property. A lot of stuff they've done before have been licensed books.
Right.
Glow, Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Wonder Woman.
Right.
This is their creation top to bottom.
Yeah. So
And they've got a production company that's done a bunch of stuff in Hollywood, and a lot of originals, and
yeah. So I hope
they're a force.
I hope that, for the people who wanted to buy a signed AJ book because it was a signed AJ book, I hope they give the book a chance and find something in it that they enjoy. And I think it deserves to be read.
Just like all comics.
Sure.
I really had a place to go after this, and it totally went away. And I hate how often I say something like that on this podcast. I did have a follow-up, but it's gone.
Oh, no. I hope this episode isn't a problem for people. I don't want it to be a thing I have to keep talking about. I hate that that's the world we live in now, is that stuff like this happens and it's like you got to have a take and you got to defend your take and you got to be part of the discussion on it. It's like there's things that I don't think about a lot, and I don't have.
We will be very happy to talk to anybody who comes into the store about Red Hood #1.
I don't know. I'd
about
be happy
the way
to
it's
talk
written,
about it, but
about
I'll
the
do
way
it.
it's drawn. Well, the comic book.
Sure, I already did on Wednesday. Somebody asked, if you go into Challengers, while copies last, it was our pick of the week because it's a single issue comic that we want to get into people's hands. On our website, the Challenger's Choice is Spectators, because honestly, if Spectators were a little thinner, it would have been in the Challenger's Choice spot. But it's too goddamn thick of a book to fit more than one copy into the Challenger's Choice pocket. So it had to be Red Hood. I would probably not make Red Hood the pick of the week now, not because of anything that's going on with the controversy over the writer or DC's actions in regards to the writer. But
It's just because you like Murder Podcast so much more. I thought Murder Podcast was a fun book. I think that it's an interesting.
I haven't sat down and read it yet.
Okay. You can say no.
I honestly don't understand what that means. I'd have to really stop and think about what you're saying. Now I'm completely, that really threw me. I forgot what I was saying before that.
How much you like Spectators?
Oh, no. Somebody had asked me about if Red Hood #1 was good. And I had said, again, everything I said on the podcast here, I think it's worth checking out. I don't think it's a home run. I think the art's great and the story has a good idea that doesn't quite come together in the first issue.
But I think if you buy issue 1, you'll come back for #2. Oh, you would have. You can't. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
Can't do that. Yeah, I did not read Red Hood in enough time on the Dropbox site to get to #2.
I just read it today.
Oh.
Yeah. Specifically because I didn't think I'd get a chance to otherwise.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I think it would have had the trajectory of a lot of...
Can I just say I'm surprised that they, cancel the whole series? You could easily, pause it, get somebody else on and retool.
Apparently not.
Huh.
It's such a nuclear option.
It really is.
That's why it was Yeah, I think the trajectory of the book would have been the trajectory of a lot of Batman family titles. I think it would have sold okay,
announcing it as an
great.
ongoing was ballsy.
Which I think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
It definitely gives that writer a little bit more room to tell their story, or it theoretically would have.
And I did like that automatically. New vigilante, new superhero, new town, new villain.
And we for sure ordered more because it was an ongoing series than we would have if it had been a miniseries. A 6-issue miniseries, I don't really need to get behind it for issue 1 because a collection is going to be out in 8 months. But an ongoing series, it's I want to give this thing the best possible chance to create the largest possible audience for issues 3 and up. That I don't necessarily think of other for miniseries and stuff.
Well, the store's name is Challengers Comics and Conversation. A podcast is always a conversation between the two of us, usually. This week is definitely a conversation, and maybe there'll be more happenings in the next week that focus on the business aspect.
Sure.
Which, this did.
This definitely did. It's the only reason why we talked about it.
Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.